Is Jey Uso versus Gunther getting stale? Now, before I give you guys my answer, I just want to preface everything by saying this. First and foremost, I'm not one of those guys who had a problem with Jey Uso winning. I was actually at the Rumble. I was happy for the guy. And were there other options they could have picked? Absolutely. Absolutely. But they picked Jey Uso. We got to get over that, okay? And the other thing is, I'm a fan of Gunther. I've been watching him since the independent scene, okay? And I also watched him in NXT UK when he was Walter, one of the most beautiful heavyweight championships I've ever seen. And on top of that, the best iteration of Imperium that I've seen so far. Now, that was back when Gunther was Big Gunther, where he didn't talk, he would just chop you up and walk away. And it made sense because after getting chopped like you did back then, you probably didn't want to talk to him. That probably wasn't high on your priority list. The most important thing was to breathe and try to stay alive because he was turning everybody into Kofi Kingston in NXT UK. And ultimately, I just want to say this last thing before we move forward. I do understand that between now and WrestleMania, things could get better in this feud. I understand that. But I want to address this feud as it is right here, right now. So to answer the question you guys see at the bottom of the screen, is Jey Uso versus Gunther getting stale? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's absolutely getting stale. Now, why would that be? Let's just talk about that, okay? Now, when Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble, as I said, I didn't have a problem with it. He had a couple of promos about people doubting him, specifically Gunther, saying that he didn't belong there and he defeated the odds. That's his story, the underdog story. And I think those are great and really inspiring promos for him. But even after that, once he chose Gunther, that he was going to face Gunther at WrestleMania, which was, we all knew that was going to happen. That's not anything new. But once that happened, my main concern was like, okay, once he chooses Gunther, what is going to happen between these guys to go all the way to mid-April for WrestleMania? Because at that time, that was 2 months prior to WrestleMania at that point, right? And it's like, how many times could we have a Yeet session every single Monday Night Raw? Gunther come out in some way disrespecting one way or another, even though Gunther yeeting was kind of funny. That was funny doing the whole Jey Uso entrance. That was great. But how many times can Gunther come out and tell him that he doesn't belong in the main event when technically he already is, right? We can't have another street rat segment or street trash segment that he has with Damian Priest because there's only one other way you can go with trying to disrespect Jay that way, and you don't want your world heavyweight champion to look like, I mean, Hulk Hogan, right? You don't want him to say things akin to what Hulk Hogan has said. And I get that a lot of people will love to see a heel be actually hated. And, you know, I love when the heels are traditional and they actually get hated, but I don't think you need to go that far, okay? You don't have to. But again, it's like, what could you do week after week after week in order to make this feud escalate and make it more interesting? And what I want to do is actually, I want to give WWE credit because they're actually trying, but what they're doing right now, it ain't working, bro. It ain't for me. It ain't my cup of tea, right? You got this whole thing now with A-Town Down Under and the Alpha Academy mixed into this. For what reasons, I have no idea. Now, first and foremost, when it comes to the Alpha Academy, I love Otis. Akira Tozawa is way more talented than he's being displayed in WWE right now. Maxine Dupree, you know, that's a whole different conversation. I haven't seen too many of her matches, but Alpha Academy, for one, shouldn't be called Alpha Academy anymore. Once Chad Gable was out of that situation, they shouldn't even have Alpha in their name at all. Unless they had Jason Jordan come out and be the mouthpiece for that group, they shouldn't be called Alpha. They could just be called the Academy or just give them their own identity. I don't understand why they continue to do with that, but it is what it is. Maybe it's for merch. On the other side, you have A-Town Down Under being involved in this. Now, although I know they're setting up the Alpha Academy, or not Alpha Academy, but Alpha Academy, I'm sorry, with Jey Uso versus A-Town Down Under and Gunther in a 6-man tag match. We know that's brewing. We saw what happened on Monday Night Raw. Even though the interaction between Gunther and A-Town Down Under is going to be funny, because A-Town Down Under, they're like these goofy bullies that are just not taking anything seriously, and Gunther is like this really prideful, serious ring general guy that don't like goofiness in his sport. Those interactions are going to be hilarious. It's going to be entertaining, and hopefully they book that right. But with A-Town Down Under, they should have already been split up. We all know that. This has been the longest, most toxic relationship I probably have ever seen on TV. I thought that the split was going to happen in their feud with Obafemi. I thought that was actually gonna be it. We saw it there. That didn't happen. There's other moments where one of them got punched by a professional boxer. We thought that was gonna happen then. There's so many reasons why they should split this up and allow Austin Theory to turn babyface because he's a lot talented than the way he's getting booked. And also the tag team division on Monday Night Raw needs another team to get in some tag team festivities, okay? Because SmackDown on the other end, as much as you want to talk about what they're doing, they're actually trying to build something up with their tag teams. And I love it. Raw on the other end really isn't doing too much with it, anything interesting. I know they're building up the New Day. I see what's going on with that, but for the most part, let's just get those things together. But anyway, those two teams shouldn't be involved in this at all. Alpha Academy, A-Town Down Under, they could have their own separate feud on the side. Hopefully this spins off into them doing their own thing. Would I be excited about that? Not really, but at least they'll have something to do and a reason to be on TV. And maybe A-Town Down Under can recruit if they're going to keep them together without breaking them up, which I hope they do break them up. You can, they can hire on a woman to be a part of the group to have a situation with Maxie and Dupree, and I think that'll be very interesting. But moving on to Jay and Gunther themselves, again, this feud involving those two teams is just obviously a way to extend everything that's happening to make us, to cover up the fact that they have nothing to do between then and now. There's nothing going on. Now, I'm not doubting that the match that they're going to have at WrestleMania is going to be pretty good. The match that they had at main event, I thought it was really good. I think it was very, very underrated. As much as people criticize Jey Uso for his moveset and for all these different things, I don't think the in-ring is the issue. It's the story itself. There's nothing more to it than Jey Uso getting into the main event and Gunther doubting him. Now that Jey Uso won the Rumble, now he's actually going to be in the main event. What else is there for Gunther to even tear him down about? There really isn't anything else. There isn't anything else. And now you got Gunther just doing this repeated over and over, promo, saying the same things over and over to Jey Uso whenever he sees him. That's getting stale. Personally, for me, again, I like the intent, but I feel like this would have been a perfect time to somehow, and this is why Imperium should have stayed together, because this would have worked out so much, so well in this if they wanted to extend this storyline. And it would have made sense for Alpha Academy to be involved if Gunther still had Giovanni Vinci and if Ludwig Kaiser remembered that he's a part of the Imperium. Like, if that happened, you would have a reason to have Alpha Academy involved, and that would help them get over a little bit as baby faces. That would have worked. And if Imperium would have recruited a woman a part of the group, what people thought was going to happen a while ago, that would have made it a more interesting storyline. And if Ludwig Kaiser, if the storyline is that they're eventually going to have him turn on Gunther one way or another at WrestleMania to cost him the title, it will make sense for that to happen against Jey Uso and for Gunther to have a problem with Ludwig Kaiser. So then Ludwig could finally get his own theme song, be his own person, because Ludwig Kaiser is fantastic. If they just go on his Instagram, to go on his social media and look at the stuff he's buying, the cars he have, the clothes he have, all that stuff, he can be this snob who has all this money, the fanciest cars, the fanciest watches, all that stuff. Ludwig will be perfect. He has the girl that a lot of people really want to be with. That will be perfect for his character, but instead, he just walks around wearing black turtlenecks and having Gunther's music and twerking in his little, shorts or whatever. I don't know what exactly they're going with this guy. I feel like he's being buried. But at the end of the day, I know it sounds like I'm complaining. I'm really hoping that they'll figure out a way to fix this whole entire situation and make it more interesting going into WrestleMania. I know once we get to Mania, it probably won't matter at the end of the day, but we'll always remember the storylines leading up to this match itself. Whether Jay wins or don't win, there's so many ways they could have really set this up. But, Vinci's gone. What can you do? I don't know. But anyway, let me know what you guys think, guys. I really feel like this feud here is getting stale. Do you feel like it's getting stale, or are you still excited about the road to WrestleMania when it comes to these two? Either way, let me know in the comment section. If you like it, if you don't like it, I appreciate you in general for watching wrestling. We are wrestling family members. Thank you so much for watching this video. Salute, peace, have a great day.